Mm. Hey, welcome everybody. So nice to see you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nadia Fairley. I'm an artist and an art business teacher. So today, let me go ahead and do this. Yeah, for those of you that are jumping on, if you would please share with us your name and then where you are calling in from. There we go. That's what I wanted to get to. All right, so let's just dive right in because today is a working session and it will take a little while for us to get through some of this information. And I'm excited for you to be here. So we are doing our goal planning 2025 for visual artists. And the reason I am doing this today and sharing this with you is I'm not sure if everybody had a busy Christmas sales season. I did, and then I traveled right after. And I don't like leaving my 2025 year planning for the last minute. So I thought, let's share it with everybody. Let's do this today. So what we're going to get from the session today is we are going to talk about why goal planning is so essential, especially as visual artists, and why sometimes it's not so easy to do as visual artists. We've got some tasking for you to do for the next 3 days to be prepared for 2025. We'll talk about who I am, what I do, and why I'm doing this. And then we're going to dive right into the 4 different steps that myself and several other business people that I know and artists that I know go through to do our planning. This, like I said, is a working session, so I hope you have pen and paper with you, that you have your calendar with you, and that you're set and ready to go. Right. So you're tasking today, what you're going to do with the end of our session today is, hello, Kitty. I have all my cats here coming to visit since I've been on a trip. You're going to come up? No? Okay. Is your tasking that you're going to do today is you're going to set aside 1 hour a day. So today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday to Wednesday to do this work. And then you'll plan out in your calendar. Oops. Oh, goodness. Plan it in your calendar. Your next third of the year based on your goal that we look at and find today. And then you'll find a team. So this is looking for a support team to team up together. This will make sense in just a little bit. Support team, so you move together through the first third of your year to hit your goal, and then also to get support when things get rough. And as Cindy knows, life gets rough when we make big plans. All right, so let's dive into this. So let me peek at the chat really quick and see what we have. Wonderful. So Cindy is calling in from Tennessee. Lori is from Missouri. Oh, wonderful. Yay, this is great. Allison, Virginia, right outside of DC. Phoenix, Arizona. Wonderful. Very good. Okay, wonderful, everybody. Nice to see you. So who I am and what I do. My name is Nadia Fairlam. I know the internet is a really big place and there's a lot of humans out there that do a lot of different things. I myself, I'm a professional artist. I'm a wood sculptor And I also teach art to children. And then I run programs for artists that want to learn how to turn their business into more of a profitable business. And I've been trained through multiple arts business agencies, the Clark Hewling's Business Accelerator program. I was an executive mentor through them, and then also brought back on to be a mentor to their next cohort for their clients. You can find them online. I'm obsessed with business. I'm obsessed with arts business because I came from a scholastic background. I went to art school, got my MFA and BFA and MFA. And when I left art school, I had no business arts training, and it was just trying to figure out how to do it on my own. And it took a lot of time, and it took a lot of money, and it took a lot of energy, and it doesn't have to take that long. If you know the right strategies and you know the right ways to turn your business into getting in front of the right people and in front of the right clients. But there's a few tricks, well, a lot of tricks that you can learn to use to get your art out there in such a way where you can make money. So our overview for today is we have, and hopefully, did everybody get the workbook? Would you pop it in the chat that you received the workbook that I included in the emails that I sent out? Okay, good. Yeah, you got it. Yep, you got it printed. Very good. Perfect. Good. I was hoping everybody was able to get that. Perfect. Okay, so here's our 4 steps. It's quite simple. The 4 steps to planning out business goals for the year. Number 1 is, and this is the one that most people don't see or don't know about, and this is the most important step that we're going to talk about today, and this is the step that we're going to spend most of the time on today, is your goal must be based on desire. So this must come from your intuition. It must come from, you can call it your higher self, you can call it source. It must come from the subconscious. So this is not a thinking exercise. This is going into feeling with your body and emotions from the future. So that's desire, step number 1. Step number 2 is planning. This is what you could call the masculine step-by-step plan, step-by-step process of taking what you experienced from your intuition and your subconscious, and then chunking this down into a specific way to map out how to set up the first 4 months of your year. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to break this down, and I'll also make it visual, as you can see here with some of these slides that I have. So you can take notes as we go along, but also I will send you the slide deck too, so you can have this to look at, all right? And so again, like I said, this planning step, the second step, this is the mapping out, where we break down your goal into 8-week goal cycles. There's 4 weeks to lead up to it. There's 8 weeks of our goal, and then there's 4 weeks after to calibrate, to integrate, and also to look and see what worked and what didn't work and what next. And if anybody has any questions as we go along today, you can put those into the chat too. And then our third step for our goal planning process is to take action. And these are specific, measurable action steps that you break down in your 8-week goal cycle, where you have 1 to 4 specific goals that you're working on in 8 weeks to get to a certain place within your business or your personal life. And this is broken down to 8 weeks. Again, I'll map this out on one of the slides here for you to look at. And then some of the support action steps that you can take and go through to support yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as we go through our goal. All right. And then the fourth step is what I call teaming up. And this is teaming up externally and internally. So teaming up externally means we actually get a buddy system. A lot of times on the internet, you see a lot of things like masterminds. It's similar to a mastermind where you have a small specific group of people that are going through the goals at the same time, at the same pace, and they're running at the speed and the direction you want to run in. I myself have been part of a specific mastermind for the last 5 years, and we've done 22 goal cycles together. And some of us have had things as extensive as finding and looking for those $20,000 jobs, getting married, having children. So these are big, huge, massive life goals that when you have support this way, number one, most specifically, people are moving at the speed and in the direction you want to go. You don't want to be hanging around with a lot of people that pull you back. I'm sure you've heard that the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with will influence your business and personal life the most. So again, this is teaming up and having an external team or mastermind to work with to do these goals with. And I can provide some of those support structures also. And I'll tell you how you can go about finding these people. And then there's an internal support structure. And these are the internal tools that you'll need when life happens. Show of hands, or you can put this in the chat. I don't know if you've experienced this before, but when we take massive steps with our life and our business and with our art, quite often life, yeah, I see you see that. Yeah, life matches that, Kelly Jo. Right? So for example, last year, in 2023, I was doing my biggest financial jumps and also my biggest career jumps. At the same time, life matched that. My father got very, very sick, and I traveled back and forth. I live in Hawaii, back and forth from Hawaii to the mainland several times, and it takes a lot of time, money, and energy. And I was committed to getting my goals, and I got them. I hit those goals too. So this is our brief overview from today of what we're going to cover today. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a few quick moments here to oops, sorry about that. My little thing here is bouncing around all over the place. Nope, we're going to stay right there. All right. What I'd like to do really quick is, like I said, our first part of what we're going to go through is looking at desire. And this is going to be about a 25-minute visualization that I'm going to take you through to get you into your subconscious, where you'll start asking yourself the questions you need to ask to know what your goals should be for 2025. This is not a thinking process. This is a feeling and an intuitive process. So I'll have you at that time. We can turn off your videos and I'll take you through the step. But before we do that, I would like to get faces to names. If you guys feel comfortable coming off of well, turning your video on for a moment, and then I'd like you to put in the chat what you would like to get out of the session today. So there's 2 questions. I'll put in the chat what you'd like to get out of the session today, and also what your biggest challenge with your art business is. If you don't feel comfortable coming off video, you don't have to. I just like to see faces to names. So I'll give us just a few moments to do that. Give you guys a few moments to do that. Again, Cindy, it's really lovely to see you. It's been a while.
Can you ask those questions again that you want us to
Oh,
answer?
of course. Yes, of course, Allison. So the two questions are, um, what you'd like to get out of this live session today, this 2020 goal planning, or what you thought you wanted to get out of our session. And number two, what your biggest challenge with your art business is currently. Okay, I see. So help with planning, clarity, what's stopping me from taking the actions I know to take. That's a huge one. That's such an important question, Kelly Jo. And we will get to that in, I'll have answers to that in step number 3 and 4, taking action and teaming up. So I'll give you some structures with that. Cindy, number 2, getting it going in a big way. Yep. Okay. Very good. All right. So again, the questions are what you wanted to get out of our session today, and then what your biggest challenge with your art business is. Right. So you have in your workbook the first page, or I should say the second page, which is number 1 and desire. Okay. Clarity of goals, planning steps. Okay, so Allison says the challenge of fully accepting your niche, figuring out how to sell within that niche. Okay, I see you. Yep, that's a good one. That's always a challenge. Lori, jump-starting my motivation. Yeah, that's a huge one, Lori. The block of showing up, whether I feel like it or not. Business is showing up whether you feel like it or not, and training yourself. Oh, Cindy, you don't have the workbook. What I'll do is you can just follow along and I'll send it to you at the end, okay? So it's really just the first 4 steps. Perfect. Yep. What I hear all the time and what I get from a lot of different artists is the I don't feel like it, I'm not motivated, or I don't know what to do next. And that does not have to stop you. Some of the processes I'm going to take you through today will, when we go into our subconscious and we go into internal states, we can tap into an energy that is constantly creative all of the time. Okay, Melanie, I'll get that to you also. It should be in the email and it should be in the attachment, and I'll see if I can get that attachment and put it in the chat while we're doing the visualization. You don't have to have it for our session today, but it is good to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. All right, everybody, thank you for putting that into the chat. I really appreciate that in that way. All right, so step number 1. Here we go. We're going to walk through. Thank you, Kelly Jo. Kelly Jo was supportive and she just put it into the chat for us today. Thank you so much. So the link for the workbook will be in there right now. Okay. Step number 1, here we go. So again, let me summarize what we're going to experience today is we're now going to go into this first step of how do I decide what my goals should be? If you're like me, you could potentially have lists and lists of things you want to accomplish. And quite often they get bunched up and then I try and accomplish them, and they just seem overwhelming. Yes, way too many, very daunting, frustrating. And then I know for myself in the past, then I would give up and then nothing would get accomplished. But when your goals come from your biggest, deepest desires, and we learn a process of chunking them down, and then learn a process of attracting them to you, it does get simpler and easier. The next step is the planning. Like I said, I'm going to break that down and we're going to do some step-by-step processes. You're going to write these down in the workbook or on your paper. The next step, number 3, is taking action. We'll break that down also. And then the step number 4 of teaming up internally and externally. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what I'd like you to do right now is you can either go turn your video off, and for the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I'm going to take you through a visualization process. All right. So what I'd like you to do is sit back and relax. And absolutely. And yes, Regina, you certainly may. Yeah, you can send any specific questions you have. And like I said, you will receive this recording when we're done with our session today. So if for some reason you do get distracted or kids, children, cats, things like that come up, you can get the information and send me questions after. All right, so everybody, if you would please, I'd like you to place both of your hands on your lower abdomen with your thumb in your belly button and your palm resting over your belly. Going through 3 rounds of breath and breathing. Breathing in through your nose and then exhaling out your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. And as you exhale out your mouth, let it sound like an audible sigh. Next breath in, breathing in just a little bit longer through your nose. Exhaling audible sigh out your mouth. One last time, feeling your body relax as you lean back into the chair you're sitting on, your shoulders softening. And as you hear the sound of my voice, feeling your jaw relax and soften too. One more final breath in through your nose and big breath out your mouth. And I'd like you to imagine that you are right now entering into your favorite movie theater, and you're stepping into the theater and you're walking up to your chair. Imagine and you're hearing your feet walk through the space, pressing your hands down onto this chair as you sit down onto the chair. And you're in one of those movie theaters where the chairs are now going to lift up the feet and the back reclines back, a big chair, and you hear the squeaky sound of the chair leaning back and the footrest lifting. And as the theater darkens all around you and the house lights go down, the light on the screen in front of you starts getting brighter and brighter. Hearing the sound of my voice as you feel your body relax. the sensation of being in this dark room and this bright screen in front of you turning on. And the first image that you see in this movie is a beautiful door. And you see an actor stepping up to this door to open it in this beautiful scene. And what kind of door is it that you see? And after a moment, you realize that you are now this actor on the screen, and you are the one that's stepping up to the door. And right before you touch the doorknob, you notice the ornate quality of the doorknob, the decor on the door. And as you touch the door handle, the door begins to swing inward towards this room. The door swinging inward towards this room, and you step into a darkened room. The lights are dim, and the door very quietly and gently closes behind you. And you can notice very lightly what the color of the light is in this room. And in front of you, illuminated, are 10 steps. Do they go up? Do they go down? Do they go to the side? As you look at these steps, you recognize and notice that this is a very safe place. It's a healing place, a rejuvenating place. And so now, as you begin to take the first step, the step is illuminated, it lights up. And as you take the second step, the step is illuminated and lights up, and you feel the soles of your feet on this firm surface stepping. 5, step 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now you are in a new room. And as you step forward into this room, the lights get brighter and brighter and brighter. Turning clockwise over your right shoulder, your bare feet touching the floor, hearing all of the sounds in this room. And this is a healing room, a healing space. And as the lights illuminate, you notice that this is also a workshop or a working studio space. It is a creativity sanctuary. And I'd like you to take a few moments walking through this space as you feel your body relax to look around at this workshop that you're in. Touching with your hands, exploring this creativity workshop. And observing what kind of tools and materials are all around you. What are the walls made out of? The ceiling and the floor. And one part of this workshop begins to catch your attention. Something illuminates and lights up even more strongly than all the other areas. Stepping over, noticing what this is. And as you hear the sound of my voice and you feel the breath relaxing deeper into your belly, and you hear the sound of my voice and only my voice as you step back into the center of the room, you notice that off to the side, there's another door that's illuminated, beckoning to you, calling to you, and stepping over and towards that door, hearing your footsteps, feeling the air on your skin. And if you're entering into our session today in our meditation and visualization for the next few minutes, please just join in. And as you step over into this space that's newly illuminated, you enter into a room. And this is a new room, a new space that opens up. And swirling in this room and in this space all around is the life, the creative life you've always dreamed of, the one that you've always wanted. Things that are swirling in the air right now begin to materialize, land on the floor and on the walls. The art you've always wanted to make, the tools and materials you've always wanted to use, your bank account filling up in the way you've always needed and wanted. And as things settle into their place, you can go and touch and feel these things as they land. And as things land and settle in this room, and you're able to pick them up and touch them with your hands, feeling them, the art you want to make, the tools you want to use, the impact you want to make. And as things settle into this room, your feet take a few steps forward, and off to your left side, you notice that there's a mirror. And as you pass this mirror, you turn to face it, and you see yourself a year from now, at the end of 2025, dressing in the way you've always wanted to dress, looking the way you've always wanted to look, as this immensely creative, impactful person. All the details of your face and your hair and your body. And as you look down at your hands, you realize that you've been handed a piece of paper. And on this piece of paper is a list of all of the accomplishments you've accomplished in 2025. And you're about to be celebrated for these accomplishments. As you step and walk into the next room, it is a room full of all of these people here celebrating you, acknowledging you for the impact for your art. And people are coming up to you, clients, businesses, thanking you. And one person in particular now makes their way towards you with tears in their eyes, thanking you for this piece of art you've made for them and how it's changed their life. And you're talking about the details of this artwork with them. And you're exactly dressed in the way you want to be dressed. And you begin to observe your emotions as this person is speaking to you, thanking you. All of these people thanking you. How does this feel in your body? What specific sensations are you feeling? What emotions are washing over you? And as you turn to move through this room where people are celebrating you in this place you'd love to be celebrated, out of the corner of your eye, you see your ideal client, that job that you've always wanted to have. And you see those people walking over to you, excited to see you. They can't wait to talk to you about this project. And you feel so calm and confident and secure, knowing that you're going to say exactly the right thing. Allow yourself to go through the interaction with this person, this company, this client. And as you end this conversation, you know that you'll be able to remember everything that you're talking about with them. This information is being recorded in your subconscious mind. And as you hear my voice and only my voice, you feel these sensations anchoring into your body and these emotions alive right now. And this celebration is now coming to an end, and you find yourself now walking back into and towards your creative sanctuary workshop space. The door to that celebration room closes behind you, and you are now back in your workshop. And as you move and explore through this creative workshop space, where only your energy is allowed, no other people or entities or energies are allowed in this space without your permission. And as you move through this space, you observe there's one table that becomes illuminated more than others. And walking over to that table, feeling your feet on the floor and the air on your skin. And on that table is an item, an object for you to bring back with you when we exit our workshop today. And this is a tool that will support you in 2025. And as you feel this with your fingers, picking it up and taking it into your hands, and in your other hand, you have your list of accomplishments. You've already been celebrated. You already have these contracts and jobs with your ideal clients. You already know how it feels in your body and emotionally. And we know now it's time to leave our creative workshop sanctuary. And the lights began to dim in this room as we walk back out and towards the flight of stairs that go down or up to the side. And as you step onto this first step, it becomes illuminated and the room behind you begins to dim. And as you take the second step, you know you'll come back into this workshop and you will often to be recharged, rejuvenated, and reminded that you've already accomplished everything you've wanted to accomplish in 2025. Stepping 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, stepping off of the stairs and into this room, and the door in front of you begins to open very quietly towards you. And you step out of this door into the light illumination of the movie theater, and you realize you are back in your seat and you are watching the actor on the screen close the door. Radiant and radiating accomplishment, ease, and peace. And in this chair, as the lights of the house turn back on and the screen gets dark, you notice you have these two things with you, the piece of paper and that gift from the Creative Workshop Sanctuary. And as you hear my voice and the sound of my voice, and your body returns in this moment to the room that you're sitting in and the chair you're sitting on, reaching your hands out in this moment to touch the chair you're sitting on, grabbing your pen or pencil with your hand and turning to an open, clean piece of paper in your notebook or whatever you have right now to write with. And I'd like to give you about 5 minutes to write in this moment and journal and capture the highlights of this visualization. And then we'll come back on video and continue this process. So again, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this. And what you're writing down is what you saw and experienced at that celebration. Writing down your specific accomplishments. The impact that you've made with your art, the impact you've made with your clients. And now let's bring this to a close. We will come back to it and I'll share with you how to use this information as we move forward next. Right, take a full deep breath in through your nose and let this breath out your mouth. Another full deep breath in through your nose and let this breath out your mouth. And if you would now, let's go ahead and come back or turn your video back on. We'll do a quick little share and then we will dive into this next session or this next section, I should say. And I just want to double check that everybody is doing good. Okay, wonderful. Good. All right. Everybody feeling okay? Thumbs up? Very good. Okay. So the reason why I go through this process, the strategy behind it is our subconscious mind, our intuition contains more information for us to tap into. It's a well and depth of information that can guide us and lead us forward. To give you an idea of how profound this process is, I went through this process myself at the beginning of 2024, specifically observing and visualizing and seeing myself having conversations with my ideal clients and the impact my art would have on it. And what I kept visualizing and seeing was my clients saying, like, quite literally, your art has changed my life. It's alive. It makes such a huge difference. It was worth every penny. I'm so glad I invested in this. And in November of this year, I visualized myself having that experience several times during the year. And in November of this year, that happened specifically, and I have it on video. This woman saying that exact thing. And I was a $20,000 commission, one piece of art for 20K. And I had never done that before. So it was a visualization process that I took myself through for the entire year. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how I was going to meet these clients, but I felt it. Emotionally, I experienced it. Physically, I felt it. And because I believed and wanted it to happen, it eventually did. Now, this is a strategy that I specifically use in my art business to get where I want to be. And it is something that not every art business strategy person will talk about. I found that it works the best for me, and this is how I teach, and this is how I guide most of my clients, is using this as the baseline to get the clients and the accomplishments that we desire. Now, there are loads and loads and loads and loads of strategies out there. I use different ones specifically, but like I said, this is the foundation baseline level of what I start with, what I teach my clients to start with. Number one, desire. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how it will feel. So step number one, desire. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how it will feel. Using this to inform how you set your goals for the year. All of this information that you downloaded today will help inform what specific goals you will set for your year. The other part is, and this will be your homework, journaling on that, what I just talked about. What do you want? Why do you want it? How it will feel. Okay, so again, this is going to be your homework for the next 3 days. Writing, what do you want? Why do you want it? And how it will feel. I'll give you an example of this. For myself, I'm going to be journaling on my next big commission that I'm working towards is the 120,000 to 300,000 public art commissions. Even just saying that, my voice just caught. It just seems so huge, but I'm not going to let myself go down the track of that's impossible. It's not going to happen. I'm not skilled, blah, blah, blah. Hush, no. All I'm going to write about is what do I want? Why do I want it? How it's going to feel, and the impact on the viewer. And then from there, I guarantee you, if you start journaling on this regularly and often, you're going to journal on this every day for the next 3 days. Things are going to start falling into place in your mind of ideas, people you can contact. And if it's kept top of mind, then also when you're scrolling through your phone, things are going to start popping up in your feed. You're going to be at the grocery store. You're going to start meeting people that are going to start putting this together. I know this works because as I've journaled on this over the last few months, I went to a co-working business space where I co-work, and the husband of the woman that owns this co-working space, he was randomly asking me what my next project was, and I told him about it, and he goes, "Oh, I know somebody I can introduce you to." Okay, I didn't do anything. Somebody asked me. So this is, hopefully you can start seeing some of the magic of this. This is where things become a little effortless and what we desire starts coming towards us. Yes, we have to take action steps in real life, but journaling on what you want, why you want it, and how it will feel, and this information that you downloaded from the visualization today. Okay. And then we do have specific goals that are a little bit more concrete too. So as we move forward, before I go on to the next step, because the next step, that's a lot of writing that I'm going to have you do, if you would either come off of mute, I mean, we're a small intimate group here, I would love to hear it, or you can write in the chat, what are, from the visualization specifically, when people were celebrating your accomplishments, what were some of the accomplishments that those individuals were celebrating you for? You can write that in the chat, or you can come off of mute and we can speak about them out loud. I'd like to hear. Excuse me.
I'm happy to start.
Please, yes, please.
I create abstract Islamic sculpture and contemporary abstract Islamic sculpture. And so the feedback that I got in that visualization is that, we have a saying, God is beautiful and loves beauty. And so they say your work represents that perfectly. And we also have something called dhikr, which means remembrance, and it's about remembering the things that are most important to you. And so people see my art and say, your work is dhikr.
Ah, amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. Okay. And then with that, what emotions come up in your body when you're hearing those individuals say that to you?
I usually just want to burst into tears because it's so
Okay,
awesome.
perfect. Good. And then what body sensations are you feeling with that associated emotion?
It's just this tingling. It's almost like this bubbling up. Like it goes back to the crying. Because to me, crying is like you're trying to express things that you don't have words for. And so
Okay.
it's just this sort of like all of this joy and emotion just trying to kind of burst out of my body. And I
Yeah.
turn into this big sunbeam.
Okay. As you talking about this, I can feel it. I can feel it in my body, what you're talking. Can anybody else get a feel from that from her? A little bit? Yes. Okay, good. So that what you were just experiencing right now, Allison, the sensation in your body, those emotions, that you get to capture like a screenshot and getting yourself into that feeling place every single day. This is like throwing a fishing line out and
Mm,
reeling clients' opportunities into you
yeah.
because people are going to start becoming magnetized by that. That's
Mm,
like pure source God energy right there, right? That you're getting into, that you're wanting to elicit and then offer with a physical piece of artwork. And
yeah.
that power, oof, when you can elicit that emotion and sensation with somebody else, that's when people are going to start running to you. And they're going to want that. Like this woman that said this to me, that's my client. Was so hungry for that feeling of joy and aliveness and life that I imbued in my art. She experienced that and felt that. And as I was installing it, she was just crying, walking around her house. And in that moment, I realized, I did it. Cool.
Mm,
That's what I want. That's what I want my clients to feel and experience. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to take something for you to continually bring yourself back into that physical, emotional state. And then when we get into step 3 and 4 of life is going to happen this year, when we have these big goals, and that no matter the outer circumstances, personally or professionally, you bring yourself back into this emotional state again and again and again, no matter what. And that's what step 3 and 4 is. Yeah, thank you for putting that into the chat. That's a beautiful, beautiful word. Thank you. Okay, does so Kelly Joe, I see that too. So thank you, Allison, for sharing that. Thank you so much. It's really powerful. So Kelly Joe is to launch your podcast, record consistently, segment your list for selling, consistent sales cycles. Okay. So Kelly Joe, with that, you don't need to come off of mute if you don't want to, but with that, I'd like you to put in the chat so those are your accomplishments that you see that other people are celebrating you for. Again, what is the emotion that you felt when these people were celebrating you? And then what was the physical bodily sensation when you were being celebrated? Take a moment and put that in the chat if you would. Hi, what are you doing? My cats are starting to make a ruckus here. They've been out of town for a little while, so they're very happy that I'm home. When you get the recording, you'll see during the visualizations, one of my cats was going back and forth across the screen. A humbleness. Okay, great. And I will guide you to, okay, good. Okay, so accomplishment and gratitude, says Heather, and humility. Okay, perfect, Kelly Jo, perfect. So what I'd like you guys to do in this moment right now on your pieces of paper, when you get to your worksheet of day one of the goals, I want you to write that out in really big letters, the emotion you felt and its corresponding sensation. Come here, cat. Hold on a second. Come here. Oh my goodness, you guys. They want me to come play. I'll come play with you in a minute. We'll be good. Yeah, so that's that inner peace. Yeah, this is really, really essential. If there's only one thing I left or gave to you from this workshop today, it's this. Locking this emotion and this sensation in your body now, you're going to get this visualization, and that's also part of your homework. Repeat the visualization every day for the next 3 days. You'll repeat this process so that you're locked and loaded for January. Heather, okay, so Melanie, sold out shows, portrait commissions they love, collaborations with local businesses. Okay, this is good. Okay. Well, let's get these guys locked and loaded then. Okay. Number one is desire. That's exactly what we just went through with our visualization. Our life based on desire, based on what we want, why we want it, and how it will feel. Not the logical of, I wish this would happen, or what other strategies are. The first step we do is desire, and then we discover the strategies that will support our desires. That's the place that I teach from. Others teach from other lenses. It's fine, it works, but the place that I find is most powerful is desire number one, then planning from there. All right. So now here's our plan. This is the place where we're going to have you take quite a few notes. We're going to talk about the masculine side of planning. You could look at desire as the feminine, as the pure receptive mode of receiving. It's the sitting back and receiving. It's the emotional state. It's the free flowing. I love to say it's connecting with source and letting source co-create with my body and with my mind. Okay. So here's our planning stage now. This is the process of setting up goal cycles within your yearly calendar. And so this is setting up 3 sets of goal cycles within your yearly calendar. And these are 8-week goal cycles with 4 weeks of prep time, or 4 to 6 weeks of prep time, and 4 to 6 weeks of, what do you call it? The word is not in my mind. Where did it go? Reflection. Right? So again, myself with my mastermind that I work with, we do 3 goal cycles a year. And we prepare for 4 to 6 weeks. We go through this visualization process. We map it out. We look at our entire year and see what we want to accomplish, and then back engineer, okay, well, if for myself by the end of the year, I want to have this $120,000 to $300,000 commission, there are things that I've got to do to make that happen. There are certain kinds of insurances. I need the construction crews. I need an actual engineer. I need people that work with metal. So there are teams of people that I need to work with. And then there's also I've got to find the jobs and the work, applying for them, those kinds of things to get that. Oopsie, no, 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 no. Okay, so, but these are the basics. And then the reflection work here. Again, let me backtrack here for a minute. I don't know what this screen is. Okay, that's what that is. Okay. And let me write this in here. It's 4 to 6 weeks of prep time and 4 to 6 weeks of reflection, but also rest. You know, you've got to integrate after these goal cycles. But then there are also 4 kinds of goals to set for yourself. We always have, you always have a financial increase goal. This is a specific hard numbers goal. This is not, oh, I'd like to make an extra $100. No, this is when within 8 weeks time, my goal is to have that 20K contract. My goal is to have made $25 more per piece of art that I've sold. This is a very specific, solid financial increase goal. We want to have a marketing sales goal. Oops, a self-image goal. So this is remember during that visualization where you looked at yourself in the mirror and you've accomplished all these things, this artist that you want to be, that you see yourself as, how this woman dresses, how she acts, how she walks, talks, eats, sleeps, the image that you project outward is received in a vibrational way. Our self-image is our North Star, and it dictates everything that comes to us. I guarantee you Brad Pitt has a very specific self-image that he puts out to get to be the person that he is today. And then we also have a self-honoring goal. So what this means by self-honoring is is a self-honoring goal is we push ourselves in these goal cycles. We're going to be stretching ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, professionally. The self-honoring goal is the goal where you take care of yourself. If we're talking to clients we haven't spoken to, we're going to be triggering our nervous system. If we have any fears, doubts, and worries about speaking to certain people, or if we've experienced a multitude of unwanted experiences in our life, and it's difficult to get up in public speak for us, or it's difficult for me, working with $120,000 or $300,000, that triggers so many fears for me in my nervous system, in my body, of things that I grew up with, of programming my parents gave me around money. And so I've got to have I need my body to know that it's being really well cared for too, so that I can balance out this extreme, okay, we're going to do this big push, but also taking care of myself in a bigger way. The last goal cycle I did, I had a self-honoring goal of a bedtime ritual, of going to bed at a certain time, taking care of my body physically, mentally, and emotionally, spiritually before bedtime, so that when I woke up in the morning, I was fully refreshed to keep going. Okay. Did I hit it every night? No, but after 8 to 12 weeks of that, my life cycles were changing. All right. So this is the planning of this. You want to do 3 sets of goal cycles within the year. These are 8-week goal cycles where you're in that push, that pressure cooker, and you have 4 to 6 weeks of prep time and 4 to 6 weeks of integration and reflection with the 4 kinds of goals: a specific financial increase, a sales and marketing goal, your creative artistic self-image. Who are you? What image are you projecting out into the world? And your self-honoring. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is now we're going to talk about how do you take action to get this to work. And I'm probably going to go a little bit over by about 10 to 15 minutes today. If you need to leave, I will have I will send this to you, and then also at the end of our session today, if anybody wants any support with further planning or any business strategy sessions, I'll put my Calendly link in here because I'm working with several artists in January. We're going to start this goal planning process all of January, and then together as a group, I'm taking a few people through this 8-week goal cycle together. And then we'll do the reflection at the end for 4 weeks together too. So if you want to be part of that cohort, I'll send you the calendar link and then you can join us for that. It's really incredible and powerful to do this together as a group, specifically for part 4, teaming up, linking elbows, so that when huge life challenges happen, you have support. All right, so this is how we take action. And also with that goal process together, you get all of the action forms, the calendar. I have calendar forms that we have pre-filled out that help guide you along in how to set your calendar up. And then when you team up with your masterminds, it's all the documents and forms for accountability that you get for part of that. Okay, so now taking action, our goals, they've got to follow the SMART goal formatting. So SMART being specific, measurable, realistic. For example, I'm not going to set myself a goal of metal fabrication completion in 1 day, right? We can do a metal fabrication within probably a couple of months. And that's what I mean by measurable. Specific, hang on, SMA, I've missed the A. Actionable. That's not great spelling. Actionable, measurable, and within a specific time frame. So what that means is yeah, so we chunk that down. So let me grab somebody's. Oh, let me answer your question, Lori. I'm sorry I missed that. So self-honoring, she's asked a question. Would that be a way to reward yourself with a good habit or counteract an imposter or sabotage thought process? No, Lori, this is literally taking care of yourself. This is you go get a massage once a week. This is going to your therapist once a week. This is going to get a facial. This is setting up a bedtime routine. This is literally taking care of your body, right? This is going to EMDR sessions once a week for 8 weeks. So you're clearing emotions out of your body. So you're not storing things. So this would be a great self-image goal of counteracting any imposter or sabotage thought processes. That would be good for self-image. Who is the woman that's not sabotaged by these processes? What does it feel like to be like truly yourself in that way? Yes, and then Kelly Jo, I'm sorry, I missed this when you asked the question about quarters. You can do this quarterly if you like. I personally do it 3 times a year because I find there's integration time and also holidays, Christmas, things like that fit in there. But if you want to do it every quarter, absolutely yes. That works too. Okay, so now to get to actions. Here we go. Let me get back to this. All right, so we've already determined that your goals are based on your desires, by your dreams, what you want, why you want it, and how it will feel, and very specifically, how it's going to feel in your body, what emotions and sensations are your achievements going to elicit within your body, and then to feel those now. You don't wait to tomorrow to feel them, you feel them today. You train yourself to feel them today with our goals. The second step is to plan it out for the year, 3 to 4 goal cycles during the year. We have the 4 kinds of goals that we do. And then now step 3 is taking action. Now is when this is where you plan out each week for 8 weeks. This is not, I hope I get this goal at the end of 8 weeks. It's no, it's, I need a metal fabricator for a $120,000 sculpture. I got to talk to people. In 8 weeks, by the end of 8 weeks, I want to have this person locked and loaded. They're in agreement with what we want to do. We're on the same page. They have all the skills, talents, and abilities that I need. They have the same desires I have. They want to do these programs and they want to do these bigger jobs with me. Okay. So if I want this done within 8 weeks, then I need to hit the ground. I need to be interviewing people. I need to be talking with people. I need to know what I'm talking about. I need to share my vision with them in that way. So this has to be chunked down. We look at the goal at the end. I want a metal fabricator to be on board with me by the end of 8 weeks. I want to have a couple of these jobs in a bag. That's another goal. I want to be the woman that enters into these rooms that people want to work with in that way. You know, what is that going to take? What understanding do I need to have? So each of these goals, then we go back for 8 weeks. That is week 1. And you have this planned out on a piece of paper. Week 1, we do X, Y, Z. Week 2, we do X, Y, Z again. So every single week, there are specific action steps that you take. And again, because you're keeping your goals top of mind and you're keeping the feeling of this thing achieved at the end, things are going to start coming your way in that way. And absolutely every huge job I've ever had, I've never gone out to look for. They've all just come in, because I spent so much time focusing on the feeling of what is it going to feel like when this piece of artwork is completed. And then out of the blue, somebody contacts me and says, hey, we want to hire you for this thing. Okay, so those are how to take these action steps. The goal needs to be smart, measurable, actionable, realistic within a specific time frame. And the example of that is I'm going to write out for you. And I think, Cindy, I did this with you before, right? We did this with this. Yeah, we did this on before. So on or before the exact date, I'll give an example. On or before February 14th, 2025, whatever time zone you're in, let's say 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me think about how I want to write this. If I'm going to do the metal fabricator, on or before the exact date. Okay. So on or before that specific date, February 14th, 2025, I said 2024 before 2025, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am working with a metal fabricator. So that will be one goal that I have. It's very specific, it's exact, it's measurable. I either have the metal fabricator at the end or not. If you want it to be a financial increase goal, you say on or before. And this will make sense in just a minute when I tell you what you're going to do with this. My self-image goal is there's going to be a self-image goal that I have in this next goal cycle is to be seen as the kind of artist that gets the $300,000 art contracts, like literally seen as her. So what that means is online, Facebook, Instagram, on my website, when I enter into rooms, how is she received? How is she taken seriously different than if I'm trying to go for $100 contract? If I'm now stepping into the shoes of like Dale Chihuly or the other artists that I know that get these larger high impact art jobs. So, and then you do the same exact wording for your money goal, and you do the same exact wording for marketing, sales. Okay. So that's the wording you want to use for the SMART goals. Okay. So now the next we want to go to is step number 4 is teaming up. This is external and an internal. So the external team to get your goals into place, because how many of you can either do it show of hands or you can do it in the chat. How many of you do a lot of studio work time by yourself where you're alone a lot? Right? We're artists. How often are you like, oh my God, I just spent the last week alone and the only person I talked to was my cat. And that's not a person, right? Yeah, we get that. I saw that smile most of the time. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's a lot to be a studio artist. And a lot of times people say, you must be living the dream. I'm like, can you spend a whole week alone? Yeah, probably not. So, yeah, most of the time painting. Yes. Yeah, we get that a lot. So it's important to have, vitally important to have a team of people to work with. The mastermind I have that I've been working with for the last 6 years, they're not artists, but we went through personal and business development training together, and we were just on the right page. We're sprinting towards our goals all together, all of us. I don't know, I think we've all earned about over $1 million, the 4 of us together over the last several years. And so Yeah, be part of a community. And so this team specifically, though, is your goal team, your goal achievement team. This is specifically for your 8-week goal cycles. Yes, to have support so people are on the same page with you. And you can either do this, for example, I offer this with the programs that I do when we go through this cohort together. You'll be part of a team. You'll be working with each other. You'll check in every single week on what you've accomplished or not accomplished. You'll support each other and lift each other up. No gossiping, no drama, no story, no excuses. Moving forward that way. It's intense, but at the end, you'll get a lot more accomplished with an external team. Or if you're part of an artist community within your own personal community, you can pull some people together to do these goals with. When you have an external team, it's important that you do the goal cycle together, that you do weekly accountability with a specific process. So this is not sitting around, having drinks and talking about what you got done or you didn't get done. This is an hour-long Zoom call where you get right to it. You celebrate your wins. You talk about what you accomplished. I have specific spreadsheets that we look at, and we look at visually. This was my goal by the end of the week, to talk to 5 metal fabricators. How many did you talk to, Nadia? Oh, I talked to 3. Well, why didn't you get to 5? And it's not you're bad or wrong for not accomplishing that many. It's looking at what came up. What kind of little sneaky things from your subconscious are getting underneath your skin and sabotaging you? It's not bad that it's happening, but let's look at what's tripping you up there. So those are the kind of conversations you have. But then, so that's what you want to do, those together in that way. But oh, that's the other part, is to how many of you spend time around people that are uncomfortable celebrating big wins? Could you go live on Instagram today and tell people out loud, I just got that 100K art job? And hold it in your body in such a way with pride where you really mean it. How many of you would find that challenging? Yeah. Yeah, you would, because we live in a culture where women celebrating their wins. I'd love to make that post. Good for you, Allison. Yeah, yeah. Where women celebrating your wins, unless you've been surrounded by that most of your life, it can be uncomfortable and challenging. So we want to be able to celebrate our wins in a safe way, in a safe community where everybody gets to celebrate in that way. So that's part of the external team. You do the goal cycle together. It's weekly accountability within a specific process. It's an hour long you go through, and each person gets the opportunity to talk about, these were my 4 goals. My financial increase goal, this is what I accomplished and didn't. And then you talk about your self-image goal, this is what you accomplished or didn't. Your sales and marketing goal, you accomplished it or you didn't. And your self-honoring goal, you accomplished it or you didn't. It's pretty black and white. That's the masculine container. And again, we do this masculine so that we can really rest back into the feminine receptivity of our goals. Now, the internal team is this. This is, let's say, for example, you're Taylor Swift. I bet that girl has a therapist. She probably also has a physical therapist. She probably has some kind of person she goes to at the gym. She has a banker. She has a massage therapist. I mean, she's got everything, right? She doesn't go through life without this huge team of individuals that shore her up so that she can get out on that stage and sing for 3 hours. The last thing I heard, she runs on the treadmill for 3 hours before she does concerts and she sings out loud. Like that girl must have like massive lungs. So who's your internal team? Who do you go to for support? I have an acupuncturist that I go to support. I have a friend of mine, she does shamanic healings. So when the energies in my life get really crazy and things appear to get out of hand, I can go to her for a little bit more soul-led support. I have an EMDR therapist so that any of my old unwanted experiences from childhood around money or public speaking or being seen in a certain way, I work those out in the process of. That's my internal team. But this team gets to be locked and loaded before you start your goal cycle. Um, And not everybody wants to do EMDR. Not everybody needs, shamanic healings or things like that. But for you, it might be church. For you, it might be, I don't know who you turn to for support, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually in that way, whatever that is for you. For example, not this year, but last year, I was flying back and forth between Hawaii and Utah and Texas. My dad got very sick. He needed a lot of support and help. That's a lot. You're running a business, you're flying back and forth, jet lag, all these other things. So my support team as I was traveling is everywhere I went, I found a sauna so I could do sauna and cold plunge, which releases the anxiety, depression, any of those things from my body. So this is the team. You want to team up, have an external team, and you want an internal team to support you. This is, people that are going to get you to the gym. Cindy, I know in the past you like to play tennis. That is having your tennis team locked and loaded before your goal cycle begins and have in your schedule every Monday at 8 a.m. I'm going to play tennis no matter what. So you do that. So, okay, let me come back to the chat. Yes. Chiropractor after long days of sitting, having your yoga scheduled in. That's right. Yeah. Having your friends. Perfect. Lori, I would love to hear this. This is so good. She says, I've built a community and you've purged those that you feel uncomfortable sharing those whims with. Yeah, yeah, it's really important. It's absolutely important. I For example, I just went to go visit family in Australia, and I have a lot of family members and a couple of family members have these amazing businesses. So for me, it's very comfortable talking about, yeah, I'm going for a $300,000 job this year. Oof. Oh, my heart just, it paused for a minute there. It's a lot. But a couple of my family members are like, great, that's awesome. How can I help you? Here are the bankers, here are the real estate agents, whatever. And a few other family members I would never talk with about because they're going to look at me like, what? You make that much money? You've never made that much before. And then all the drama and the trauma and the blah, blah, blah. And it's just a waste of time. I don't want to convince them what my dreams and goals are because I don't want to put my time and energy there. It's a year. A lot can happen in a year, and I want these goals and I want to make this impact that I want to make. All right. So to go back over our summary of our session today, because we're coming to a close, I don't want to go too much over, and I want to leave a little bit of room for a little bit of Q&A today. Yeah, what you did, it works better. Very good, Kelly Jo. Okay, number one, the very step. Your goals must be based on desire. What you want, why you want it, and how it will feel. Try and relinquish goal setting based on other people's strategies. It's another person's strategy. Those are the action steps you use to shore up your goal. What do you want more than anything? Your heart-led desires. This is what our goals are based off. This is our root. Number two, this is when you start getting into, well, actually, number three is strategy. Number two is 3 to 4 goal cycles within the year. 8-week goal cycles with 4 weeks of planning up front, 4 weeks of decompression on the back end. I see a cute puppy there, Cindy. That's very sweet. You want to have very specifically 4 goals: a financial increase goal, a sales and marketing goal, a self-image goal, and a self-honoring goal. Then step 3 is this is when we take action. This is when all of those Instagram strategies will come into hand that you see all over the place. This is when sales strategies, this is when marketing strategies come into play. This is when, you know, you get help from somebody else if you need. But our goals, each goal has SMART goal language. Honor before the exact date. I've accomplished blah, blah, blah. I have an extra $1,000 in my bank account. Very specific. What I do is I have visualization goals. This is, I've felt my accomplishment in my body and my emotion 500 times or more. You got to check it off. You felt it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You either felt it or you didn't feel it. So it's really specific that way. And you have specific action steps or strategies for each of the 8 weeks. And then step 4 are your teams. And these teams are locked and loaded before you start these goal cycles. It's your external team and your internal team. Okay, my friends, on that note, this is our goal planning for the year. Now, that was our summary. Now I want to get to our tasking. Okay, let me open up the tasking here, and then I'm going to open it up to a little bit of Q&A. And then we will talk about what it would look like if you desire to be part of the teams that I'm putting together in those different ways. And then we're done for our day. Okay, so for the next 3 days, part of what you're going to do is some homework for the next 3 days. I'm going to ask you to set aside 1 hour every day for the next 3 days. That includes New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And with that, you want to listen to the visualization that we did, that I walked you through again, and then take notes at the end. And then also part of that hour-long process, you want to look at your calendar. What I do is I take a calendar, like a physical one, and I rip it apart and I put it on a wall so I have the entire year to look at right in front of me. And then I'm going to chunk that year down into 3 parts or quarters. And I'm going to look at it. All right, these are the weeks, week 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my planning weeks, my goal cycle week, my integration week. You have it on your calendar already. And the reason why I also do 3, because is if there's traveling, if there's birthdays, weddings, things like that, you want to coordinate all of that in there. And then you want to start writing out in pencil on your calendars where your weeks and things land. Then during this 1 hour, you also want to start looking for your support team, external teams, internal teams. And also with that, yeah, those. And did I miss something here? Oh, duh, yeah. How about some goals? Here we go. I want that to be 3. Okay, so number 3 is begin outlining. They won't be set in stone, but we want to outline them based on your thinking and journaling. And here too, we want to, I call this what you want, why you want it, how it will feel. And you do want to journal on this specifically, because those are going to help you know exactly what goals you want to do. All right. So you're going to set aside an hour today to do this, every day to do this, plan out, start outlining your goals, find your support team. Okay, fine. I don't want to do number 4. Perfect there. Find your support team. And then with that, you can also set, if you're interested in being part of any of the teams that I'm putting through for the year, we can put together a sales strategy call, and we can talk about that together too. And I'm happy to walk you through what that would look like if you wanted to work with us. Okay. Okay. That's what that guy looks like to set that up. And I'm going to put that in the chat right now. So you guys have this in the chat. If you'd like to set an appointment, this is free. You don't have to pay for it, nothing like that. During the session, what we're going to talk about is what some of your goals are and what it would look like if you want to be part of like the full cohort that's going together, or if you just want individual support, maybe just in talking about what your goals are, or if you want somebody to be just part of your team, it could be part of your goal cycle, or it could be the whole goal cycle together. All right, my friends, and this is what it's going to look like. Oop, not that. So, and to work together, if you want to do the full session with us, it's a 4-month commitment. And during that 4-month commitment, we do the 4-week planning together. We do the 8-week goal cycle together. We do the 4 weeks at the end. It's 8 sessions a month. So this is, you do 2 sessions a week, live sessions a week with me and my team. And one of those sessions a week is Q&A. One of those sessions a week is the goal cycle itself. You'll get a private session with me at the front and at the end, any additional trainings that I do during the year. I have self-image training. There's your unique creative voice training if you want support with that. And there's also artist recovery training. In other words, what to do when you're burned out. Been there and done that. So I help you set a large business goal. We break that down into actionable steps, and then we stay on track for that. So guys, thank you so much. I've gone almost 20 minutes over time. I'd like to open this now up for Q&A. If anybody has any specific questions, go ahead and pop them in. If you need to jump off, that's cool. I totally get it. So I'll open this up for the next 10 minutes if you've got any questions. You're welcome, Allison. I hope to hear from you all again. And yes, absolutely. So nice to meet you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you, Nadia.
You're welcome, Cindy. So good to see you. Who is your doggie?
This is Sophie. She really needs to go out. So she's
Go.
getting bitey.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Naughty.
Yes, of
So I may
course.
email you and
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Let me know if you've got any questions and we'll go
yes,
from there.
thank you. It's been super helpful.
Okay, yep, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Okay, Lori or Melanie, any specific questions you have for me before we end? Oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, totally. That's the whole purpose. That's why I've recorded it. Yeah, no questions. Okay, cool. All right, my friends, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet all of you. Thank you for being here today. And I'll send out a little email at the end. It'll come at the end of your day today because I'm several hours in front of you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here, and good luck with everything. And I'll talk to you all soon. Okay, bye.